All right, well, let's go ahead and get started with our week one live lecture. So, first off, I just want to take the time to welcome you to the course. My name is Dr. Davis, and I am your instructor for COM205, which is Effective Communication. If you're enrolled in this course, then it is a 12-week term course, and so we will get to know each other a lot over the next 12 weeks. Excuse me. All right, so I want to take the time before we jump into the course and the material as a whole. I want to take the time to introduce you to me and the things about me, just so you can kind of get to know your instructor a little bit more. So, I have a short little introduction just to help you get to know me a little bit more than you do right now. But first things first, though, I'm so excited about new students and a new term. I don't know about you, but I love new terms because I get to meet so many new people and new personalities, and it's just really fun to get to meet and get to know my students on a more personal level. So, I did want to tell you a little bit about me. Before we do that, though, I want to give you a little information that I really believe it's helpful for my students to have on hand. Sometimes it's difficult for them to find, so I like to just kind of present it up front. So, I would ask that you make a note of these things. Like I said, this is COM205 and it's Effective Communication, and it's a fully online course. It's a 12-week term course here at Fortis College. And like I said, my name is Dr. Davis. So, you can just refer to me as Dr. Davis. My email, if you need it, it's in the course, but sometimes students struggle trying to find it. So it's sdavis@fortiscollege.edu. So it's right there on the screen if you want to jot that down somewhere, just in case. But like I said, it is all throughout the course. But, just to kind of have it on hand, it's not a bad idea. Now, another thing that I want you to jot down really quickly is the Fortis College Technical Support phone number. I know a lot of times, especially now that we are working in Canvas, students have questions about things that are more technology driven instead of course related. And when that's the case, I would encourage you to reach out to Fortis College Technical Support because they're going to be able to better assist you than I would. So if you're having login issues, if you're locked out for some reason and can't log in to Canvas, you're experiencing issues logging into the course, if you're having problems accessing some of the course materials. I know sometimes students will say that they can't open a file in a particular lesson, but it's working on my end. Then you'll want to contact technical support because that's obviously something that is isolated and something that they'll need to fix for you. So I listed the Fortis College Technical Support phone number there. It's 410-219-0199. There is also an email way to contact them as well. However, I encourage my students to make that phone call only because for some reason they tend to address the questions a little sooner. And so when you have them on the line, you can, hopefully get the problem fixed immediately. And sometimes it's just a really simple fix and it's something they can do really quickly. And so the delay in email causes you to get behind on things. So anyway, with all that being said, I would just encourage you to give them a call instead of the email. And again, I have that phone number listed right there. So like I said, though, I did want to take the time to introduce you to me a little bit. So allow me to start by introducing myself a bit here. I've been in higher education as a college instructor or professor, either way, for several years now, upwards of a decade at least, and I have experience at all levels of higher education. I've taught everything from interpersonal communication to public speaking and even different business communication courses. I've taught things in advertising and propaganda and so forth. So basically, I've taught in pretty much all areas of communication. I've also obtained my PhD or my doctorate from Auburn University in the area of educational leadership and technology with a focus in adult education. And I love teaching my adults, so that's a lot of fun. Also, I possess a Master of Arts degree in Communication Studies from the University of South Alabama, and I also have a Bachelor of Arts degree in Communication Studies from the University of South Alabama as well. And like I said, I've taught numerous subjects in the area of communication. Chances are, if you ask me, have I taught it and it's communication related, I probably have. I work for colleges across the United States, and actually just decided to take a step back from one which was abroad. And well, anyway, it was in the UK. And so yeah, so I love my field. I've taught numerous subjects in the area of communication, and I hope that you enjoy it as well. So where do I call home? Because most of us live all across the United States. Actually, here's a few pictures just really quickly of some of the college things I was telling you about. So on the far right, we've got Sanford Hall from Auburn University. That's where I got my PhD from. I believe the middle picture is my master's degree at USA, and then we've got the bell tower just from USA as well. All right, so where do I call home? I am a Gulf Coaster. I've lived here all of my life, so I live in Alabama, and I just love the area that I live in. I am someone who lives about 45 minutes to an hour from some of the world's most beautiful beaches, in my opinion, of course. But I can tell you that I have traveled to various places all over the world, and I can honestly say, without bias in this, that we really do have some of the most beautiful beaches here on the Gulf Coast. If you've never made the trip down here, I would encourage you to do so. From Mobile, it's about an hour drive down to the beaches. Not a bad drive, though. We have several beautiful beaches in Alabama. We've got Gulf Shores, Orange Beach, just a lot of areas in there. And then if you keep going down the Panhandle a little bit and on into Florida, then you can go to places like Destin, Florida, or we recently made a trip down to Fort Walton Beach, which is probably about a little over 2 hours from where I live. And the water there is literally clear. You can see all the way to the bottom, and it is the most beautiful turquoise blue you've ever seen in your life, which is why it's called the Emerald Coast. So if you've never made the trip down, I encourage you to do so if you ever have the opportunity to. Now, with that being said, I enjoy spending a great deal of my time at the beaches, obviously, and visiting local restaurants. We have wonderful seafood, obviously, in my area of the world, so we do enjoy that quite often. And of course, I love shopping in my area as well. So, a few more things. I do live in, like I said, Alabama. I actually live in Mobile, Alabama, and we have a very rich culture here. We are the official home of Mardi Gras in the United States. I know a lot of people think that is New Orleans because it's such a big thing there, but actually Mobile, Alabama is the home of Mardi Gras in the United States. We were the first place in the United States to hold Mardi Gras celebrations, and fun fact, every year the mayor of New Orleans, and of course this is just a fun formality. It's I don't know how serious it would be, but the mayor of New Orleans has to send our mayor in Mobile, Alabama, a letter requesting that the city of New Orleans be able to host Mardi Gras because they have to get privileges from us every year to do so. Now again, I don't know exactly how binding that is. If we were to say no, I'm sure they'd have their Mardi Gras celebration still, but it is a fun little tradition and definitely something I like to share with people. So we have a fun few weeks with that every year, and it's a lot of fun and just a really gorgeous place to live. So just kind of a few things there. We've got a Mardi Gras float at the top. We've got one of our beautiful historic homes listed in the bottom left, and then there's a photo on the bottom right of some of our beautiful beaches down here. All right, so as far as my hobbies go, my husband and I, we love to travel. We've traveled to various places all over the world, but here are just a few snapshots of us in some of these various places. The top left corner, we have my husband and I in the Dominican Republic. It was just absolutely beautiful there, just so picturesque. We also have a picture of me skydiving. That's me jumping from about 14,000 feet. And just in case you're curious, you really can see the curvature of the earth at that height. And in the bottom left corner, that's my husband and I in Virginia Beach. A lot of fun there as well. And in the middle photo, that's my husband and I right outside of the White House in Washington, D.C. Great historic vacation if you ever get the opportunity to do that. And then on the far right side, that would be my husband and I in Charleston. And I really enjoy Charleston as well because it reminds me so much of living in Mobile. So, um, yeah, that's just a little bit about me. And on that note, I hope this helps you to get to learn a little bit more about me. And of course, I look forward to getting to meet you as well. So, again, welcome to the course. And let's go ahead and jump into the big part. Let's jump into Canvas and where to find things in the course. And let's talk about the materials this week and your assignments and so forth. All right, give me just 1 second. I'm going to take a sip of coffee. All right, so when you log in to the course, then you're going to see, and you won't see this pink frame that you're seeing here. That's because as an instructor, I've decided to go into student view for you so that you can see. So what I'm showing you on my screen is exactly what you would see. My version of it looks a little bit different because I'm an instructor. So like I said, I just took it to student view, and this is what you should see on your end. Now, when you log into the course, then you will normally up here on the account, you will see, well, I won't even go into all that, but all right. So when you click the dashboard, hold on just a second. I forgot because I'm in student view, I can't do certain things. All right. So when you come into the course, then you will see this. You will see your recent announcements, but I'm going to show you a better way to check announcements in just a second, and you'll see some information on how to get started, Course Cafe, learning modules, and so forth. But these are the links that we really want to pay attention to over here. So this is the home area. Again, what I just showed you. This is the announcements area. Now, announcements are vital to you because I generally post 2 announcements a week, at least, but on average, probably 2, because I try not to overwhelm you with too much of that. You have enough on your plate to do other things, so I don't want to give you too much to read and take valuable time away from other things that you need to be doing in the course. So, but when you log into the course, you should always click the announcements area. Now, what is this? Announcements are things that I post for you. It's information that I need you to know, that I need you to read over. It is often related to content about the course. I like to provide extra information for students. A lot of times I provide videos for you to watch. The videos are very short, not like the meetings. They're very short snippets of clips and things that I've found that help you to see how the course materials are being shown or illustrated in some way. I also remind you of what is due, what you should be working on, when it should be submitted, and so forth. So again, every time you log into the course, click announcements and just read anything you haven't read. Now here's a good thing to note here. If it's marked in yellow, this little yellow dot right here to the left of my picture, that means you haven't read it. And so what we're going to do is, if it's not, well, if that little yellow dot is not there, that means you've already read it. So you can skip that one. You can go to the next one. So if it's a yellow dot beside it, you need to read it because that means you haven't read it yet, and it could have some very vital information for your success in the course. So all we did was we were on the home page and we clicked announcements. Okay. Now, let me show you a few things in the announcements just to kind of get you up to speed here. I have your late work policy here. And so if you click the late work policy, it tells you how we do late submissions in this course, the percentage of the grade deduction, and so forth. I don't expect you to submit late work, but I do know that things happen sometimes in life. And even if you fall out of this this time frame that I have listed on here, just send me an email if you're having problems with things, and let's see if we can work out a modified due date schedule for you. Again, though, I expect you to submit your work on time, but just in case you have an emergency or something, just reach out to me. I'm always happy to help you with your late submissions, and I can pretty much do so to help you catch up until the final day of the course. And at that time, I can no longer accept submissions. So don't wait until the last minute. All right, so we're going to click announcements and go back. And I want to show you. You see how that yellow dot's gone now? That means that we have read this announcement. So if you see a yellow dot, that means that you need to read it. All right, so we're going to click this one, and this announcement just talks about smart thinking. So if you're having any problems with your writing skills, getting things down on paper, you want somebody to help you kind of look over your assignment, especially from a writing standpoint, smart thinking is a wonderful resource for you. And how you would access this is you see over here all these links I was telling you that we need to pay attention to. There's a smart thinking online tutoring. So we're going to just open that up in a different thing. I don't know if it's going to let me open it because I'm an instructor, and it may not. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think it's going to let me do it because I'm an instructor, but from a student, you can click on that and it will take you to the Smart Thinking Online Tutoring, and they'll be happy to help you with your writing and anything you want to do to really polish up those assignments. All right, so let's go back to the announcements. And we see those two yellow dots are gone. That's because we've read these announcements. So when we click on the welcome announcement, and I'm going to let you read all this in your own time, but I give you some loose directions on how to get started in the course. A short course introduction videos there for you from me. Just, basically says a lot of the things I just said in my own introduction. I like to also post inspirational videos. They're just fun to watch and give you a better week, to be honest. All right, so I'm going to click the announcements again. And this next announcement is actually the one that really takes us into week 1. So in week 1, we're talking about self-concept and perception. And I'll discuss that with you a little bit more in just a moment. But when we click on this announcement, this is a good example of an announcement I post often each week, and that's why I encourage you to check the announcements, because I talk about what we're going to be discussing for this lesson. I try to put some real world spin on it so you can understand, the concepts we're talking about. I even gave you a short YouTube video to watch that helps discuss self-concept, perception, and so forth a little bit more. And they're usually very short. This video is probably, I don't know, it's probably under 5 minutes at least. And yeah, I normally do that, especially in the first announcements for the week, and then the later announcements for the week. And you can't see that yet because it's not there for you to see yet. I usually put the recap announcements on Friday. So you'll see one that says week 1 just to recap. And when you click on that, it briefly discusses a few things about the week. And then I go over reminders for what you should be submitting before that Sunday deadline. Okay, so checking those just to recap announcements that I post on Friday will be really helpful, because you can go down the list and go, yes, I did that, I did that, I did that. So you won't miss anything. And I'll show you another way to check and make sure you didn't miss any assignments in just a moment. But so yeah, so far that's home. We looked at that. Okay, we've got announcements. We've looked at that. Because all those yellow dots are gone, we know we've read all the announcements. And so next time we log in, let's say we don't log in till a while from now, if you see another announcement that has that yellow dot, that means you need to read it because you haven't read it yet. Okay, so we'll keep moving. The next one is your syllabus. And so we'll just click that link really quickly. And the syllabus just tells you a little bit about the course. It gives you a course description, the objectives we hope you are able to accomplish or achieve by the end of the course. We talk about your e-textbook, and I'll discuss that in just a minute. We talk about the equipment that you're going to need for this course. You will need a video recorder or a webcam, or you can even record using your phone later on in the course, because we will be recording one speech. But we've got a while before we discuss that, so just stay on week 1 at the moment. We've got the instructional methods we use. So in this course, we have different things that we utilize to really teach the material. We have classroom policies, ADA guidelines. We have grading components. So we talk about how your final grade is broken down, point values for things, and near the end of the course syllabus, we have an outline of what we do each week, what we're going to be doing. So that's your course syllabus. So we've talked about home, we showed you announcements, we showed you the syllabus. I don't know if the bookshelf is going to work for me right now because I'm in student mode and I'm technically not a student, but we'll click on it and see if it opens up. Yeah, because I'm a student, it's not going to, because I'm an instructor, it's not going to open on my end, but I will show you in just a minute. Normally, you can click this to access your course readings. I'm actually going to show you another way to open your course readings, and it seems to work better for some students, so hold that thought. So all of your weekly course materials, your assignments, what you need to be doing is going to be found under modules. So modules is very important to you, okay? So we're going to click modules so I can show you. All right, so we've got some great information here. Excuse me. We've got the welcome area. So this basically tells you how to get started, about your instructor. We've got the course cafe listed there. Let me see if that pulled up. Oh, we've got to fix that. That's what I thought. All right, so you'll find my contact information here. You will find the course cafe here. And the course cafe is just, it's an ungraded discussion forum, and it just allows you to ask questions or even discuss things among other students. I check the course cafe pretty much every day except for the weekend, and I just see if anybody has any questions. If your question is something you want to direct more towards me and you don't want to post it here, all you have to do is send me an email. No big deal. But you'll see that, we've got a few students here that have already posted some questions, and I've addressed those. So we'll go back to modules. So if you want to go back somewhere, you just go back to the main link and click it. We've got student resources here. So you've got your e-textbook access. You've got some tips to help you with Canvas, this system we're working in. You've got the Writing Center, which is very helpful with your writing skills. If you want some online library resources, you can click that. But the main thing I want you to pay attention to is week 1. So we're in week 1 right now, and this is everything you should be completing for week 1. There's no curveballs. There's nothing like that. If it's not listed here, then you don't have to, basically you don't have to do it. So, and this is, this list gives you a great way to stay on track and make sure you've completed all that you need to complete. So what I'm going to do is I suggest all students start at the top and go through week 1 chronologically in order so you know you didn't miss anything. So let's click on the week 1 overview. All right, so the week 1 overview basically gives you a very short breakdown of what we're going to be doing that week. It talks about the course objective that we're hoping to meet this week. So by the end of the week, we hope you have a better understanding of this course objective. Now I'll let you read that in your own time. Now you don't have to keep going back out to go back to things. What you can do is you can click the next button down here in the bottom right corner, and it'll take you to the next piece of week 1. So after you read that, move on. All right, so it says week 1 reading, and it tells you what you should be reading this week. You should be reading chapter 1. And to access your week 1 reading, so that's what I was trying to tell you before. If you click next, it's going to take you to this COM205 textbook table of contents. Okay, and you would just simply click that, and it's going to load your readings for you. Okay, so you're going to have to start by entering your email address, because that basically says that you have permission to access, this material, and you'll hit continue. and you'll have a password. If you don't have a password or anything like that yet, it's because you need to create an account. So all you have to do is create an account first. All right, and then it takes you to your textbook readings. And see, that, to me, it's a lot simpler going through the weekly lesson to access your textbook readings. It just seems to work better than that main link in the course. So I don't go through this link. I click modules. I find out what I'm supposed to be reading by clicking the week 1 reading. Okay, and then when I find out, because it says there I'm supposed to be reading chapter 1, then I click this and I click load COM205 textbook table of comments and new contents and new window. That's how I access the readings. Plus, it lets you know what you're supposed to be reading, and also gives you the textbook all at the same time. All right, so we're supposed to be reading chapter 1 per our lesson stuff. And so you would just go to click on these little 3 lines up here, and or actually you could just do it this way. Okay, you can just keep clicking that arrow at the bottom and kind of scroll through the textbook information, and you could go to week 1 that way. There's a lot of different ways to do it, so it's however you want to do it. You could probably type in here chapter 1. Let's see. Oh, well, there we go. That is there it is. Okay, so and then you would just read chapter 1, and it's that easy. So you just scroll down, and when you need to go to another page, you hit this arrow at the bottom of the screen, and it'll just progress you through. Okay, so let's go back. So we did for chapter 1, we looked at the overview. That gave us a brief introduction, told us the course objective we were supposed to be doing that week. We looked at the week 1 reading. We'll just go back and click it again. It told us to read chapter 1. We clicked next. We loaded the table of contents and read chapter 1. Click next. And it's just moving you through the week. The next one says week 1 interactive lecture. And so these are really neat because it helps to give you a really good insight into the concepts we're talking about this week. So we're talking about attitude, self-esteem, we're talking about self-concept and perception. So we'll be discussing that in this interactive lecture. I said lesson, but I meant lecture. All right, so to access this, you would just click on this week 1 interactive lecture, and it's going to open in a new window for you. So after you read through this, then you'll complete your other assignment. So we'll just click it real quick. All right, and so it starts with an introduction, and we'll just keep clicking next, and it's going to take us through all the materials that we need to read for this lesson. And this information is important to you because it's going to help you to complete your assignments for the week. So I'm just going to close that out. So we did the week 1 interactive lecture. We're going to click next. Next is the discussion. So hopefully you've already chimed into this, but each discussion in the course is graded. So it's important that you are completing those. Your initial post for each discussion is due by Wednesday night at 11:59 Pacific time. Now, I've had a lot of questions on this. Not everyone is in Pacific time. I don't actually live in Pacific time. I live in Central time. So it's important that you know that the due date time doesn't change based off of your location in the world. So your initial post is due by Wednesday night at 11:59 Pacific time. If you're not sure what time that is for you, just go to Google. You can type in what time is it Pacific time, and then, if it's, an hour ahead, then you'll just need to make the calculation and know, okay, I need to have my assignment submitted by this time, my time. All right. You will also need to respond to at least 2 of your fellow students in a thought-provoking manner. by Sunday nights of the active week, again by 11:59 p.m. Pacific time. So this first discussion talks about effective communication, and in that you're going to, I do want to talk about the assignments a little bit for this week. So in this first assignment, you'll say in 5 to 7 sentences, you'll describe a time that you effectively communicated with someone. You'll cite areas in your textbook that justify your effectiveness rating. And so when you read your course readings for the week, then you'll see what makes up effective communication. Getting everyone to agree with you doesn't necessarily mean that you have effectively communicated. It takes a lot more than that. So in your response to your peers, you'll also want to discuss their post and really talk about how they effectively communicated. And you can ask questions as well if you want to. Now, if you want to check out the rubric and see how you're scored, you can click rubric right here, and you'll know how I compute your grade for the week 1 discussion assignment. And like I said, so your response in 5 to 7 sentences, describe a time that you effectively communicated, and cite areas in your textbook that justify why you think you effectively communicated. That post is due by Wednesday at 11:59 p.m. Pacific time, and then you'll have until Sunday of this week to respond to at least 2 fellow classmates and discuss their thoughts as well. Now, you need to, when you're replying to another student or when you're making posts as a whole, make sure that you're using proper grammar, proper spelling, that you are using professional communication, that you are not just posting "great job, I enjoyed your post," because that doesn't get credit. You need to actually discuss that person's post and maybe interject some thoughts to it, encourage further dialogue, and that helps you to earn a great score on your discussion assignments. Okay, now to make an initial post, you would just click right here at the top, right under the directions, and you would post your thoughts. I'm just going to put test. And you'll hit post reply. Obviously, I don't want to post that, so I'm just going to delete it. And to reply to someone else, so you see my little introduction here, you would click reply, and you would type your thoughts and post reply. Okay, so that's how you make a post. A main post is to go right under the directions, type out your thoughts, hit post reply, and to reply to another student or to me or whatever, you would just click reply down here, type out your thoughts, and hit post reply. Okay, so it's that easy. All right, so let's go back to modules. We're going to go back down to week 1. So we read over the week 1 overview. We checked out the week 1 reading. It told us to read chapter 1. So we moved to this textbook table of comments, and we went to the bookshelf that way, and we read chapter 1. We reviewed that interactive lecture. We posted our thoughts to week 1 discussion, and then the last thing was the week 1 instructor session, which we're doing right now. So that is, let me make sure that what that looks like on your end. Okay. All right, and that's it for week 1. So it was that simple. And you'll see that things, stay relatively the same depending on the week. So week 2, which would obviously start next week, we'll have the week 2 overview. Again, it's the same thing. It just talks about the objectives we're trying to meet for the week. We'll click on week 2 reading. It'll tell us what to read that week. We'll click on COM205 textbook table of comments. It'll actually take us to what we need to be reading. You'll go through the week 2 interactive lecture, and that's where you were clicking through and reading the slides. And then next week, instead of a discussion assignment, you'll have an assignment to complete, an actual written assignment. And so I want to click on that real quick. Again, this isn't due till week 2, but I want you to see how to submit an assignment, because you just learned how to submit a discussion post. So let's check out how to submit an assignment. All right. Okay, so when we click on the week 2 assignment, which again is not due until next week, you will simply read the directions. You will, for this assignment, you are putting an F or an O for fact or opinion beside different statements. So I'll just kind of leave it at that because we don't have to go over this quite yet. If you click assignment details, and I'm going to click that for you real quick, it's going to give you the actual assignment, and it gives you the instructions. It shows you how you're going to be graded, and it gives you the template to complete. So obviously you'll just click enable editing. You'll save this document to your computer. You'll just put you'll just put if you believe it's a fact or an opinion beside each number. You'll address this question. You'll save it, and then you'll be ready to submit. And the way to submit that is, let me show you. You'll go to up here to the top, and it says submit assignment. We'll click that. We'll click browse. We'll find the assignment wherever it is on our computer, and we'll click submit assignment, and that's it. Okay. And again, that's not till week 2, but I did want to show you how to submit an assignment versus just posting a discussion, because I know that will come up next week, and some of you might actually work on the assignment before I can post my live lecture, so at least you know how to submit. And that's pretty much it, guys, as far as the work goes. You know, things will change each week. So in week 3, again, we have our overview. We find out what we have to read. We read it. We go through our interactive lecture. We post our discussion thoughts. We have our instructor session. Okay. And so as you can see, we actually don't have an instructor session every week. And that's another reason why I wanted to show you week 2, because I just remembered we actually don't have an instructor session that week. So yeah, you just work through the weekly material. You've got week 4. You'll have your overview. You'll find out what you read. You'll read it. You'll go through the interactive lecture. You'll complete the assignment, and you'll submit it. It's that easy. Okay. So hopefully that helps you. Modules is such an important area of the course, and hopefully that helps you to see what's needed. Now this discussion link right here, let me show you something. So we're still in the modules area, and we're still looking at week 1. To post to the discussion, you can click it under week 1, or you could click the discussion link over here, find week 1, and do it that way. So it all leads to the same place. It's just a couple of different options on how to access it. All right, so we've talked about the Smart Thinking online tutoring. I can't show you that right now because I'm not a student, so I don't have a student account. But if you need help with your writing, you would click that. And then you can, might not show me this because, yeah, okay, because it's going to show me as a test student. To check your grades in the course, and I recommend that you do this often, you click grades. And grades are, so the deadline for your week 1 assignments will be this Sunday night. I generally have grades posted at least by Wednesday of the next week. So just give me a couple of days to get grading done, and then you'll see your scores here. So you'll see that for the week 1 discussion, you'll see a score here, and it'll tell you out of how many points. So maybe you scored 18 points out of 20. Okay. You'll have, that's actually all you have for week 1, so that's the only score you'd find. But next week, you do not have a weekly discussion. Instead, you have an assignment. And you'll find after that week passes and you give me a couple of days to grade, you'll find your score here. And you'll actually be able to click this and read over my feedback as well. Okay, so if you are, let's say we're in week 6 of the course. Let's just give that example. And you've got grades on all these things except you've still got a dash on the week 2 assignment. If there's still a dash there, it means I didn't get your assignment. So you need to get that reach out to me and let's discuss and get that submitted. Because if there's a dash and the week's passed and you've given me time to grade and we're already in week 6 and you don't have a grade for week 2, that means your assignment was not received. And so you need to contact me and we need to get that submitted. We need to get you back on track. Okay? And you will see, you'll see your running total here as well once you start getting grades in the system. So it'll give you your average to date there. So if you don't know what your course average is or your grades are, you can always come here and check them. You can always check your current course grade there as well. And that was just simply clicking on this grades link to the left of the screen. And that's basically it, guys. I hope you learned a lot about, we'll go back out to the home area just so you know what you're looking at. I hope this helped you to understand the course, how to operate it, what you should be looking at. Just a couple of reminders. You need to check the announcements areas at least on Sunday nights, Sunday, Monday, and then again by Friday. And hopefully you're looking in a little bit more than that, but remember when you click announcements, if it's got a yellow dot beside it, that means you haven't read it yet. So if all the dots are gone, you've read the announcements. You can always refer back to your syllabus for things. You can access your e-textbook here, but honestly, I would go through the modules and access it that way. Just go to your current week, and you can access that e-textbook by always clicking the COM205 textbook table of contents link, and you'll find that in each week of the course. Okay. As far as the modules go, we're in week 1. Start here and work. Just keep clicking the next button after you read and complete things, and it'll work you through the whole thing. Okay. Discussions, again, you can access your discussions if you're simply going through your week 1 materials. You'll access it that way. If you want to go to it without having to go through the modules area, you can just click discussions. Access it that way. At any point in time in the course, you need to check your grades. You click grades. You'll find your grades there after they've been posted. Generally, just a few days after the week is closed as a whole is when I'll post your grades. Smart Thinking is a great resource for students to help you with your writing skills. And then once we get to the end of the course, you can click on course evaluations and you can give me an evaluation of the course. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions, just a reminder, I can be reached at, oh, that's another thing I should show you really quickly. But I can be reached at sdavis@fortiscollege.edu. If you need technical support, don't forget to give them a call at that number right there. You need to put that in your phone, write it down somewhere, and always have that on hand because you never know if you might experience technical issues. And one more thing I wanted to show you before I forget. If you want to send me an email directly in the course, you can click inbox over here to the left. Hold on, let me go out of student view so you can see it. All right, so you would click inbox. If you want to send me a message, you click this compose new message, this little pencil and paper up here. You'll select your course. You'll see it listed there. I don't want to click that because you'll see everything, all my courses. You put a subject line here. I'm just putting test. Hi, Dr. Davis. Just type out your email there and click send. Okay. I usually respond to email messages unless it's the weekend. I usually respond to email messages within 24 hours. The only exception to that might be over the weekend, but I try to keep that 24-hour policy pretty straightforward. So we'll enter back into student view so you can, that looks a lot cleaner for you. All right, so if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to assist. And I hope you enjoy week 1. Canvas is an awesome system. I hope you enjoy the system. I've been working in it for, goodness, probably 7 or so years now, not with Fortis, with other colleges, and so I'm just very excited that they've made this new upgrade for you. So if you have any questions, reach out. Otherwise, I look forward to meeting you in week 1. Thank you so much.